At this point, we'll get to one of the highlights of the day and ask Christina to come on up, and Adele, please, and District Governor Mark.
Fellow Rotarians, it is my privilege, pleasure, and honor today to welcome into membership Christine Toohey to your club, whose name was proposed by...
Herself, through me, thanks.
Through you. Through herself. The proposal was reviewed in accordance with your club constitution and bylaws.
Our club now proceeds to admit you into membership in the Rotary Club of East Long Meadow, and so to the Fellowship of Rotary throughout the world. It has already been explained to you that the ideal of Rotary is service. Our principal motto is service above self, and the object of Rotarians in their clubs throughout the world is to encourage and foster their ideal as a basis of worthy enterprise. You are to share in the effort.
You've been approved for membership in this club because we believe you to be worthy of representation of your vocation, interest in the ideals of Rotary, and willing to do your share in translating these ideals into tangible realities. You have agreed to accept this obligation attached to your membership in this club and obey the club's constitution and bylaws. I will now pin your emblem on you from Rotary.
Do like the seals, just pound it in.
Like I'm getting married again.
Airwaves.
Thank you.
Tell them not to be jealous.
Welcome to the Rotary Club of East Long Meadow. Fellow Rotarians, I'm happy to present Christina Toohey.
Okay, so I just have one thing to add.
Okay.
There are, how many Rotarians worldwide? 1.2 million. You, my dear, are the newest Rotarian in the world. And I'd like to present you with this Paul Harris medal.
Thank you.
And there's a 4-way test on the back. That'll be 5-way or 6-way.
There's 6 ways, 7 ways, yep.
But for now, it's 4.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Christine, you do have an opportunity to say just a few words if you want.
Oh.
It's your call.
I didn't prepare a speech.
No more than 15 minutes.
Yeah. To anyone who I haven't met already, I look forward to meeting you. I'm Christina Toohey. I live in Long Meadow with my husband and my 3 little ones. Not native to this land of your snowbound winters and from the south, but I'm happy to be here and call this my home. I work at Ruth's House Assisted Living in Long Meadow, and I am happy to join you and serve our community. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for participating. And now I'll ask District Governor Mark to come up and say a few words.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here. When I went, it takes about 3 years to train to be district governor. And right now, next year's district governor-elect, Mark Glass, is in San Diego at a hotel with 540 district governors-elect from the whole world and their spouses and partners. Rotary pays for them all to go there. And when you're there, or you're not there yet, you start to say to yourself, what the heck are they spending all this money for to bring everybody here from all over the whole world? Well, our theme this year is Rotary Connects the World. Now, how many people here know somebody from Mongolia? Marcel does. Anybody else? I do now because I went there, but I know a lot of people from a lot of other places too. At every meal, I went and sat at a different table. So there was, tables like this, like so far on a clear day, you can see the other side of the dining room. And I went to a different table every day to try and learn. Now, you, sir, came in after I passed out all these little cards.
But I know the 5th test is about love.
You got it. But you have a card now. Is that yours?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna pull this trick on you. So I'm sitting at these tables with all these people, and I had business cards, and so if I wanted to get you a business card and I was sitting here, if I'm a good frisbee thrower, I'd get it across the table and you'd get it and look at it and put it away. I might as well have been giving them the finger. because that's the wrong way to do it. So this is what I learned is the right way to do it in these other countries. So you would take whatever it is you're going to present to somebody with two hands, and you would put it out in front of them like this, and you would bow. Now, when you bow, according to Bruce Lee, you don't break eye contact. So a bow,
Do I bow too?
and you bow after I bow as you take it, but don't break eye contact when you do it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
It's harder than it seems.
Okay.
Now, you have what I gave you, and I gave it to you in a very honorable way, right, with a bow and all that. You don't just throw it in your purse or your pocket or on the table or something. You are duty bound now to eat it.
Out loud?
No, but I mean, just to not dismiss it as, oh, thanks a lot for the piece of junk, and right? So that's how that goes. So as I sat there, I felt bad because here I am, this cowboy from America, a Yankee, a Connecticut Yankee, flicking my cards around like holy water, right? And then and these other people were so formal, and so I thought after a while, yeah, but I learned about their culture. I kind of learned about mine too. I mean, did anybody ever hand you their business card like that here? No. In fact, we have little logos with a finger going like that, passing you their business card. That's what we do. We kind of fling them around, right? So I thought, okay, let's learn about other countries and Rotary in other countries. Okay. So clubs in India. There's one town. Where was it?
Calcutta?
Yeah, Calcutta. 52 clubs.
Yes.
All with 1,000 members plus, with waiting lists. Waiting lists. And to be president of a club there, you have to campaign to try and win it. Okay,
It's like this club?
Yeah, it's just like here. So this Tammy will be interested in this. We're going to take this thing from Taiwan, and we're going to bring it to District 7890. In Taiwan, in order to be president of a Rotary Club, you had to have made a $1 million cash donation to the foundation first. Okay, so I'm sorry, but
No pressure, no pressure.
you work in a
Take
bank,
checkbook.
just take home samples. There you go. There you go. He's got it. He's got it. Oh, thank you, sir. I'd like to donate it to polio. So if I donated this $1 million to polio, how much would it be worth? How much would go to polio if I donated $1 million to polio?
If it was
All of
real,
it. Oh.
most of it.
100.
Bill Gates. Bill Gates.
Oh,
know?
yes, plus, yeah, the match.
So if we donated $1 million, Bill Gates puts in $2 million. So $1 million becomes $3 million. So I'm a kitchen and bath designer and remodeler. So when I go to somebody's house to look at their kitchen, I ask them for a check for $50, made out to Rotary Foundation in the memo line Polio Plus. So they're giving me 50. I turn it in. It becomes 150, and at 50 cents a dose for me coming out to look at their kitchen, they save 300 kids' lives. Not a bad deal.
It's not bad at all.
Not a bad deal. So I was sitting with a guy from Nashville, Tennessee. He said, and this was in Hamburg in June last year for the International Convention. So I said, where are you from? Yeah, Nashville. I said, what do you do in Rotary? He says, I'm going to be president. I'm PE. I'm going to be president, July 1st. I said, cool. I said, how many people in your club? Oh, 600. 600. 600?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how many are here?
Yeah.
20, 25, I don't know. 600. I said, how do you go to pre-pets, pets, and the district training assembly and run a club of 600? How does that work? He said, I'm just a figurehead. We have a business manager that goes, from year to year to handle all that. It's amazing. So the big message was to grow Rotary. Because in North America, we've had 1.2 million Rotarians worldwide for 20 years at least. but not in North America. We've been going down while India's been going up. And I talked to a district governor the other day who said in 2001, when he was district governor, even back then, India was petitioning to have Rotary International headquarters moved to India. Okay? Because they're getting it done. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. I think it's got probably something to do with the caste system. And when you go to other countries and you say you're a Rotarian, it's going to be like you said you're the Queen of England. Okay? In most countries. And now you have to realize that you have a home everywhere. So I heard a story about a guy who was in Africa doing some kind of a service project, and he was flying home, and somewhere in Paris, they were stopping in to get another plane to come to the United States, and a bomb went off, and they just shut down everything. They lost their luggage, they lost everything. And the flight, nobody knows when there's going to be another flight. So what does he do? He looks on the internet, finds a local Rotary club near where he is, calls the president. Now, if somebody called you and was at Bradley and they were trying to get back to Paris, and then a B-17 blew up their car, whatever, and they said we're in trouble. Wouldn't you mobilize your forces?
Sure.
Well, they went and got this guy. They brought him home. They put him up with his family, got him clothes, got him everything. The Rotary Club took care of him. And then they got him to the airport in Brussels or someplace where he was going to catch another plane and fly out. We belong to a brotherhood, a sisterhood, just a family that's worldwide. And you can feel it in this room with 540 district governors elect. And I hung out with this girl from Mongolia for a couple of days and learned as much as I could about Mongolia. And she was a Rotary actor. She invited me to come to stay. And I got invitations to go stay everywhere around the whole world. I mean, I got a home no matter where I want to go. So I was telling these guys, somebody came to my club in Simsbury, Granby a few years ago and was talking about a little concrete box that you could buy over in India and fill it with sand. It's 4 feet high, 2-inch thick walls, 20 inches square, spigot at the bottom, fill it with this sand, and you can dump the crappiest water you want in the top, and it comes out drinking water at the bottom, and it'll give drinking water to 20 people for 20 years. So she was talking about this thing for 15, 20 minutes. I finally said, shut up, will you? How much are these? Not that rude. So when she told me they were $32, then I said, shut up, sit down. And I said, club, stand up. And I put $64 down, and I said, I'll provide 2 of those. How about you guys? Everybody put in checks, money, whatever it is, $780 at breakfast. This was in 10, maybe 9. Now, I get the International Assembly, and you have a name tag with an RFID on it, and everywhere you go, they zap it. If you miss a meal, they charge you for it. And they send you a 1099. If you miss 3 things, you're out. You're going home. And you're going to have to, consider everything that they gave you income and pay taxes on it. Okay. So when you go into the big plenary sessions, you have assigned seating. There's 1,000 people more sitting in this place. Assigned seating. What the hell's my seat? So I finally get to my chair. It's on the aisle, and I look, and there's a scroll on my seat, and I pick it up. I don't know what this is. It smells like perfume. And I whip the thing open and I look, and there's my picture in a tuxedo. And at the bottom is a picture of the district governor of this district in India. And this thing is to thank me for coming up with all that money for those water filters 10 years ago. Wow. Holy cow, you kidding me? What kind of records are they keeping over there? It was amazing. So I thought, wow, I'm the king of the world, right? I found out that all my other NEPETs, New England Pets district governor-elects, they got them too. For whatever they ever did for India, there it is. That's amazing, isn't it? Okay. So they sent us literature. Now, let's talk about Grow Rotary, okay? Somebody sort of asked about my attire, right? And so Less than an hour ago, I was laying up tile on a backsplash in the kitchen. I jump in my truck. I shoot over here. Do I have time to go home and change my clothes? No. This is what I wear to work. This is business casual. Okay. I throw this on, just, sort of in respect to my office and to you. And when I leave here, I'm going to go from straight here to there because I got to grout all that crap I put up this morning. Right? And the people are sitting there waiting for me to come back. Now, dress codes. They send us a piece of paper and they said, women, business casual, men, business casual. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, that's not my business casual. My business casual is a t-shirt, jeans, and boots. So if I have business formal, I put on my apron, and my hard hat, and my ear things and whatever. So I put that on the Facebook page for the International Assembly. Now some guy writes in and he says, I'm a swim instructor. What am I supposed to do? Whatever floats your boat. Whatever. So I did wear this there in protest of this idea that what Rotary is looking for is younger people, women, and not just young people. You don't just say young people. You're young people. Yeah, because most clubs, the average age is dead. So
I resemble that.
I know. So I said, what do you mean young professionals? When I was 25 and I was a carpenter, did I consider myself a professional? No. Was I young? Yeah. But did I consider myself a professional? No. And even at my club, when I go dressed like this, somebody asked me when I was going to be president, hey, what's the makeup of your club? I said, I don't know. I think there's 69 financial guys and me. So I show up like this and they say, we're going to fine you. Good. Thank you. And then I got a requirement for next week. Next week, when you come here, I want you to wear the clothes that you would wear to mow your lawn. And I'm coming in a tuxedo. That way, neither of us has to pay a fine. And both of us have to go home after the meeting to change our clothes, not just me. Okay? Tradesmen, I don't care who you are. You usually come in some other thing, and you're sort of making excuses for having to come in jeans and what. Forget that. Forget that. Okay, so this is what I say about this. What do? We do good in the world, right? Do-goodery. We make projects. We make people smile and, cry. Do they care what you're wearing? Everybody see my cousin Vinny?
Yeah.
You see that movie, right? She says, you're a deer and you're going through the woods and you finally find some nice cool water and you put your little deer lips down in the water and bam! A bullet takes off half your head and your brains are in bloody pieces all over the ground. Now I ask you, does the deer give a damn what the guy who shot him was wearing? The people in the world that we do good for don't care what we're wearing. And if you want people that are going to have to, because if you want tradespeople and people that are working jobs and they want them to get here and they work with whatever they're working in, they can't go home and change at lunchtime. Come here and then go home and change again and go back. They just can't do it. So you got to relax that. Young professionals, stop using that, if you ever did. But that's what Rotary pushes, young professionals. If you go on the website and you look at Paul Harris Society meetings in 1920, God, it was tables 75 feet long, 10 of them, with guys lined up on both sides. Guys, mind you.
Yeah, no women.
No women. And that's what they had. And straw hats, and zoot and all that stuff. Well, we're back to the roaring 20s. Anybody ever see one of these? Of course, right? So I was born in 52. I became a carpenter at 62. This is what we used. And this one is very stiff. Okay? This is Rotary in Paul Harris's day. Right up until the 70s. Somewhere in the 70s, somebody came along with something more flexible for Rotary. Women.
1987.
About that time, these things came really popular. When these first came out, they were junk. But that thing is not very flexible. You can't do much with it. But if you take this thing and bend it around like this, I'm going to do this little magic trick so you can just see how flexible this is. Find the year you were born. You don't have to tell us.
Yep.
Pinch the two together right there. And the other side will tell you how old you'll be this year.
Yep. I like that trick.
So if you were a carpenter and you had one of these in my day, there was a special pocket in the side of the overalls for this to go in, right? They use it for cell phones now. And then tapes came with clips, so you hooked it on your belt and you could whip that thing out. You could do all kinds of things. You can bend it. You could use it as a 3-inch thing, add it to the measurement. Then these came along. And in Rotary, this has come along metaphorically speaking too. And Rotary has gone digital, right? Everything is online. It's either Club Runner or Rotary.org or websites or emails or whatever. We're leaving people in the dust with this. I'm one of them. I'm afraid I'm going to start a fire when I use a computer. I have to find somebody to do it. And for you, you have to have a president, a secretary, a treasurer that's competent in this stuff. If you work at a bank, maybe you are, right? I'm not. So I have
We're
to have...
challenged also.
Huh?
We are challenged on our level as well sometimes.
Yeah, well, sure. So this thing is accurate within 1/16 of an inch in 60 meters. They used to be within a half an inch and 20 feet when they first came out, but now they're really good. So all the things that we learn in Rotary about how to get district grants, how to get global grants, how to service project, how to find people, how to get members, all those things, that's all the how. These things will help you build if you're a carpenter. They are how you build. But the question is, why would you want to build it? Why do we do what we do? Carpenters create architecture. Architecture can be pretty fugly, as you know, and it can be pretty nice. Projects that Rotary does can be crappy or they can be great, but it's all that smile at the end that everybody wants to see. Now, why to get people to join Rotary? Why did you join? Did you feel like you were joining a family and you were going to be able to do good in the world and leverage your time and your efforts and that kind of thing? So, who's not here?
I didn't tell you everything.
Who's not here? I'm sorry. Did somebody say something?
No,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Okay. Who's not here? There's what, 25 of you? Where's the other 580? Where are they? Well, they're out in stores and businesses, and they're here and there. And if you walk out there and say to them, naked, and you say, metaphorically speaking, and you say to them, and this is your line, by the way, you find somebody and you say, how come you never joined Rotary? Can you picture yourself asking the florist or the hardware store owner that question?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you ask them, what do you get for an answer? What's the number one answer, do you think?
What's
Rotary?
Rotary?
What's Rotary? What the hell is Rotary? Do you have an elevator speech? Right? Most people do. Or maybe sometimes you don't, or you never even ask that question. The other thing that you hear, what are some of the other things that you hear?
Don't have time.
Don't have time. What's another thing?
Nobody
Big
ever
thing.
asked me.
Ah.
That's one.
See these little cards I gave you? The Summers Club, and I think you have a connection there. The president is David Marty, and he's got a printing shop. He printed these for me. Now, if you look at these, on the front it says Rotary District 7890, service above self. Okay, so when I go to the bank, sorry bankers, I take these out of my pocket and I put them up on the teller counter on the other side of the teller's name tag so she can't see it or he can't see it. Stays there for quite a while and people see it and maybe somebody will take it. I throw these around all over the place. But you'll notice on the back, there's a place where if you ask, how come you never joined Rotary? And they'll say, nobody ever asked me. I'm asking you. I'm inviting you to a meeting. We meet at 12 o'clock on Thursday at the whatever this Hills Country Club is, blah, 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 blah. I'd like you to come. Here's my name and my phone number. Here's when we meet. I'll pick you up. Or just come. I'll host you. You won't have to pay for your dinner. I'll take care of that for you. Okay? That's what the back of this card is for. Now, the inside has the 6-way test. You can let that go by because that was just my idea. But I just thought, I don't know, these 4 are kind of masculine. I wanted to put something a little softer in there. When I was in Germany, all the buildings looked like forts. There is an effeminate thing in that country. Nothing lacy, nothing curvy, nothing just, it's nothing soft. So I said, this thing is made by men back in whenever. It's actually made in the 40s, I think. Is that right, Marcel? Somewhere in there by some guy who was a CEO of a big company, and his marketing department was screwing everybody. And he said, I got to get some ethics in this thing. So he made the 4-way test. And when he became president of Rotary International, as he was leaving, he gave the 4-way test to Rotary. Great. We don't own it because we let the patent lapse. So it's in the sort of ether.
Public domain.
Yes, public domain. So I thought, well, I could add these 2. We always say, when will it be fun anyway, as a joke, right? When you say the 4-way test, when you're not, being formal. And we had a guy there that spoke about love, and all the things that we do have love component. We don't use the word anywhere. This is perfect. Yeah, well, I got on the international terrorist watch list for doing this. I can't fly anymore, stuff like that. You would have thought I changed the Lord's Prayer or the Kaddish or something. So if you look at the 6 areas of focus, and I did this at Pre-Pets last year, if you took this room and you said to everybody in this room, look, you don't ever have to work again. You're going to get paid all the money you need to do whatever you want. Everything will be provided for you. But you have to pick one of the 6 areas of focus, and you have to focus on that every day for the rest of your life. Which one would it be? Now, if you want to know how to remember the 6 areas of focus, up on the top of a waterfall, what's coming over the top? Clean water. If you have clean water, you have a shot at disease control. If you have clean water and disease control, you have a shot of getting mothers and children to grow up healthy and tall enough to educate them and make them literate. If you have educated and literate people, then you can have a shot at economic development. And if you have economic development and everybody's got 2 nickels to rub together now, you're going to need peace and conflict resolution. Now, at this thing that I saw at the International Assembly, they're talking about adding environment, clean environment or something, environmental concern, something like that. So that'll be number 7. Would that be your jump on?
Environmental.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that there?
All right. So when you meet this person at the florist or the hardware store or wherever, and you say, we have a meeting on the 17th, whatever it is, I'd like you to come. And by the way, what is Rotary? This is what we focus on. This is what we do. Which thing do you think, and if you show it to them and they read it, they'll jump on one. Say, good. And when they come to that meeting, this is going to be a special meeting where you're all going to invite somebody to come. Now, Bill's been to a couple of my presentations already. I'm sorry I have to sneak out. I'm getting too long. So Milton Rosenberg in Enfield discovered that there's 5 of whatever your meeting day is in the month every 3 months. So I asked that we get rid of speakers. I know that's not practical, but if you could get rid of speakers on that 1 week and you do an action project, because we're supposed to be people of action, that's the day you invite people to come. Okay? So his first thing was backpacks. Because they had 188 kids that were going back to school, they had nothing. So somebody was a benefactor and bought 188 backpacks. And then everybody else brought all the other stuff, pencils, supplies that were going to go in them. They packed them and they delivered them. Now they got 3 months to think of their next thing. And I guess you've already done it.
Yes, we did in October.
You served
We
a
were,
luncheon
it was
for-
Halloween time, so we went to and helped out at the senior center when they had their lunch. Provided entertainment because one of the Rotarians, Joyce Keating, is a past Miss Senior Connecticut or something. So she brought some of her friends from all over the state, came in, and they all did an entertainment session where they all sang and danced and played things
swimsuit
for the seniors. For the seniors that were there, and we all dressed up in Halloween costumes.
Cool.
And everybody had a great time. I don't know what's happening next week, though.
Okay.
Something's happening next week.
But you see, you have 3 months to plan. And in the meantime, you don't have to have a speaker every week if you're going to be planning whatever you're going to do for 3 months. So you can start being people of action. You can all know what the date is. You can all start inviting people to come. And if that's what they see, rather than meet, eat, burp, and go home, that'll be amazing. Okay? So when I did this idea in Southwick, and I'm almost done, a lady that was sitting on the other side of the president, we were also jammed in this horseshoe table arrangement that nobody could move, so I just sat there and gave my talk. And on the other side of the president, his girlfriend was reaching around the president going, ooh, 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 ooh. I said, what? She said, backpacks. Yeah, what about them? She said, I'm a teacher in the poorest school in Massachusetts, in Springfield someplace. Kids come there every day that are homeless. And they come with a backpack. Not only is this backpack the only thing in the world they own, but whatever is in it, that's all they own in the whole world. She says they don't put it on their back with the carry it like this. They don't put it down. They're not separated from it. You know, and these are people who need us. There's people in India, there's people in South America, there's people in your own community that need us. All this stuff of learning how is interesting. But the reason you're here is for the why. This is the why. Thank you for your
Okay, District Governor, you picked the title of a book off a list before the meeting started.
I did.
And that book will be donated to the Children's Library on behalf, your name. It'll have a book plate with your name on it.
They have a whole library.
Yeah, exactly. Someday.
Thank you.
And I need to sign it, but this is for you to keep. We hope that you use it as a bookmark, or maybe to straight line something while you're.
I'll just put it in my bag. By the way, they gave me this when I was in Southwick. I don't like this. This we gotta fix. All service clubs declining memberships. We have to become flexible. Your club needs to become. Remember when you were in Boy Scouts, you had a jackknife? Wanted to have a blade and a can opener? Now your club has to convert from being a jackknife to being a Leatherman. It's got to be all things to all people. You got to be able to do lots of things and be flexible as heck. And I don't want to get any letters saying we're sending somebody home for not making the attendance requirement, or not wearing the, the right suit, or for those goofy reasons.
Photographer wants a picture.
Ah, okay. Me and my best.
That'll
suit.
do.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Okay, if we could do you want to do the 6-way test?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do the 6-way test.
Oh, I'm sitting in your
Why
chair.
not? Mark, would you like to lead us through the 6-way test?
Say and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be done with love? And will it be fun for all concerned?
Thank you all. It was a great meeting.
All right.
Thank you.